Hello, hello, and welcome to this episode of Compensation Insider. So today I want to tell you a personal story. I was in Paris many years ago. I was 28 years old at the time, and I was working at France Telecom, and I was not happy in my job, mostly due to the relationship with my manager. She was a very tough woman. Lots of people were resigning and so on. Anyway, I was there. I was still working. I was not doing anything about it. I was not too many years on that job. And then one of my friends, his name is Mathieu Gagnard, he was working in another telecom company at the time. We were not direct competition. We were in the same industry. And one day he gave me a call, and I always remember because it was on 1st of April. And he said to me, "Hey, Sandrine, we have this great position open in Rome. Would you like to consider the job? The job is to be the component manager for South Europe, Middle East, and Africa at my company. And I think you would be a great fit for the role." And so I said, "Oh, okay, why not?" I'd never considered ever moving to Italy or anything like that. And I sent my CV, and they said yes. So they flew me to Rome, and I had an interview with my future boss. His name is Tufik El. He recently retired. We're still in touch. We had an instant connection. So right during the interview, I felt very comfortable. I knew that I wanted to work with him. I think he felt the same. And I remember on my way back home, at the time we didn't have cell phones or anything like that, so I was there with my credit card at the phone in the airport, calling my parents and telling them I'm going to get the job, and I think I'm going to move to Rome. And my dad was very angry at me. He was like, "Oh, how can you know that you're going to get the job?" and so on. But actually, I just knew it in my guts. And a few days later, I received the offer. And so I decided to move to Rome because I was like, okay, Rome, beautiful city, the culture, the food, the weather. I wanted to work with Tufik, and there was all those new exciting international responsibilities which I hadn't had before, and the opportunity to work in English, not in French, and so on. And so I was super hopeful when I went there. They really took care of me, upon my move. And they appointed a relocation company to help me look for a place to rent, to set me up with the water and electricity and bank account and all this kind of stuff. And I started the work. And the first few months in Rome were super interesting, but it was a bit of a struggle. Okay. I was in this position where I was working in this regional headquarters for South Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And basically, in the international roles, this was on the same location as the Italy plant factory. And so in the Italy, in the country part of the business, all the employees were Italians. Okay. And in the regional headquarters, a lot of the employees were actually expatriates. And all the directors, or most of the directors, except maybe one or two, were non-Italian. Okay. And a lot of the employees within the team were a mix of expats and locals, but mostly Italians. And it was a bit of a challenge because I did not belong. I was an expat, but I did not belong to the director group. I was not as senior as they were, but I also wasn't an employee. I did not speak Italian. I could not, really mix in the same way with the employees. So I didn't belong in either group of people. So I didn't have friends in Rome. I knew nobody. I didn't speak the language at the time. I learned quickly, but I didn't have friends. I didn't have a social life for many months. And it was difficult also from a work point of view because obviously many managers didn't enjoy being challenged by a young competent manager, and I did challenge them quite a lot. I mean, that's why Tufik had recruited me. He needed somebody to push back on some of the I think the company had a culture previously, where things could be easier for managers in terms of requesting exceptions and so on, and they were moving into a more like professionalized type of environment. So there I am in Rome, coming back to my empty apartment every night and having fun with my job, but still being challenged on a personal level. And I remember one evening, it was maybe 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and I was there and I was at the copy machine. I don't know what I was doing. And I overheard two colleagues talking. And I had made friends in the workplace, but I never saw anybody outside of work. But I was friendly with a lot of people. And I hear those two colleagues, Danielle and Marco, talking that it's late and shall we go and grab pizza? And I was so desperate at that point in time for any kind of social interaction that I came to them and I said, "Hey guys, can I join you?" And they were very surprised and they said, "Yeah, sure, come with us." And I told them, "You know what? It's the first time I'm going out since I joined Rome." And that was like 8 or 9 months on the job. And they were super surprised. They said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, well, I moved here alone. I don't have friends and I never go out. The directors obviously don't mingle with me and so on." And that was a turnaround because really at that point in time, they realized that they had made an assumption about me that because I was not Italian, I was having the same kind of life that those directors who were all married and were socializing between themselves were having. And they hadn't realized that I was actually more like them. And also as a single person at the time that, I was by myself. So my life completely changed from that one point of time because then I started to be invited. By then I was not speaking Italian, but understanding it. Everybody spoke English in the company, so they would speak Italian. I would answer in English. It was perfect. And I stayed and I got promoted later on to include North and Eastern and Central Europe to my job and to move to London and so on. And this move to Rome was really the big career changer for me. Um, Taking this job in Italy was like a jumping into the unknown, but it opened so many opportunities, especially international opportunities for me. So I want to share a few lessons with you. So if you're listening to me as a person and you have an opportunity and you're not quite sure how it's going to turn out, take the risk, follow your dreams because you will have more regrets if you don't do it than if you do and you fail, because at least you can look at yourself and say, I tried. But I want to also share some feedback as HR. So when you're sending an expat to a new country, it's really important to support them, but not just on the technical aspects of the relocation. So having those relocation companies that help to explore, the different schools, to look at the different areas where the person may choose to live, to support them, in setting up when they come. But I think that if you want success from those expatriations, all those social and soft aspects are very important as well. And I think they depend quite a lot on the family situation of the expat. So obviously, a person who is single, a couple who has one of the spouses, it's typically the wife, but not always, who stays at home, or the couple who have kids will have different needs. And I think that over time, it would help if you have some regular checkpoints and you can offer some kind of social opportunities or mixing and just a checkup point, because a lot of expatriations fail, especially when it's a couple. And if the spouse who's following, so that what we call I don't like this word, but the trailing spouse, so the one who follows the one who got the job opportunity, if they don't like the place where they go, will often put an ultimatum to your employees saying either we go back to our home country or I'm going back home alone, and there might be consequences for the couple. So really, as employers, we need to think of those situations and try to make sure that we put in place at least checkpoints, and if we can, services or systems that will support in that all this soft aspect of the relocation, which is actually going to potentially make or break the success of the move. In any case, that was my personal story. I'd love to hear your personal stories. Don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this episode and see you soon on Compensation Insider.